Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KDUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
This is Carefree Arizona Mayor John Crane. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, hosted by Carefree's favorite son, Vince DeLisio, who was just awarded Carefree's Man of the Year and given the key to the city. Oops, I just perjured myself.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is made possible by Friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Eric Castellan, and we are live from Fillmore Coffee Company here in downtown Phoenix. And I'm joined by Vince DeLisio, and I'm also joined by Alexis Davis. Guys, how are we doing this morning?
Go ahead,
Pretty
Alexis.
good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to be here. It was a little touch and go initially. It's nice to be here this morning. Ooh, mics are a little hot. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us this morning on a beautiful Saturday morning here live from downtown Phoenix, Fillmore Coffee Company. I've got my coffee right here, and it's just going to be an amazing day. Eric, Alexis, you guys set this up. Let me ask you, because this is an incredible location. How did you land such a jewel for us to do our remote this morning from Fillmore Coffee Company?
So I could kind of take a hit on this. So I usually kind of park all over the place. I'm not a huge fan of like meter parking.
Yeah.
I try to hit street parking for the most part, and I've walked by all these places like the whole time. I've actually had it a couple times, especially during my freshman year when I was just kind of walking around campus a lot. And no, I was like, no, this is a great interior. It's such a large space, and I was like, this is a good place. So I decided to take a chance with it, and they got back to us pretty quick.
Well, they did, and they're great people here at Fillmore, and I wanted to also bring on our guest, who is the manager here at Fillmore Coffee Company. Her name is Isabella Fredrickson, and she's also she's a student like you guys. So Isabella, thank you for joining us on the Varsity Sports Show. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's great, and thank you for first of all for accommodating us, telling us we can set up our stuff here and do the show. And but you're on kind of a similar trajectory of these guys in that you've got a lot of good things in the hopper. But you're a student at ASU. You're a student in the Cronkite School of Journalism. Just found out this morning, big stuff. And you're graduating in May. You got some things coming up. I know you can't talk about, but what exactly have you been studying in the journalism realm?
Yeah, so I, as you mentioned, I'm graduating in the spring. I've been focusing on broadcast journalism. I've been having a very fun time doing it. I've done Arizona PBS, Cronkite News 3 semesters. I was a weather anchor for all of them. So I'm just really excited to step into the next chapter in terms of career after graduation this spring.
So when it comes to time management between doing Cronkite News, I know that's pretty, even if you're not there, you still have to go out, find your sources, put all your packages together. How do you do that while also managing, this establishment downtown?
Yeah, so I'm actually not a manager, but I am one of the workers, and I do work here very often throughout the week and weekend. But thankfully, the people that are in charge here and that manage, they are very flexible and accommodating with our schedules, because most of the workers here are actually all students as well. A lot of them are in the dorms at Taylor Place, or they're living downtown. A lot of nursing majors, but yeah, most of the staff here are students as well. So our lovely people in charge are very understanding of our schedules. And I'm like, hey, I can come in and open, but I have to leave by 8:30 so I can make the Cronkite News morning meeting at 8:45 and at 9. So actually that's what I did a lot. So they're all very accommodating and just good communication, which I really enjoy about this place. So I plan to be here until I graduate.
You mentioned too that you really like doing weather. You've done weather 3 semesters back to back. So how did that go, kind of auditioning to be weather anchor and then doing it, liking it so much that you did it an additional 3 more times?
Yeah, that's so funny you said that. So I started Cronkite News summer after my sophomore year, before I began junior year. So I did it a little early, but I was just so excited to get into it. And I auditioned to be an anchor, and I got that. And my director, Heather, was actually like, I want you to audition for weather. And I had never up until that point even considered weather. I was like, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't know what I'm talking about. That never even sparked my interest. And her and Elisa both pushed that I audition for weather, and I got it. And I actually really liked how it was unscripted versus the teleprompter with anchoring. And I guess I liked it so much I stuck around and did it 3 extra times when I didn't need to. And I can't really say what I'm doing quite yet, but I actually did sign a contract to be a weather anchor after
I know what
graduate.
you're doing, but I'm not going to tell.
Do?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
so
not tell.
I didn't even think I'd like it, but I'm now going to be doing it full time. So I'm really excited, and I thank Cronkite News for pushing me to do that first.
So when you were kind of going out looking for weather opportunities, was it more so I'm looking to be a weather anchor, or is it more so I'm okay with doing news, I'm okay with doing sports? How did you kind of pitch yourself to, all the markets?
Yeah, so again, as I mentioned, I am not a meteorologist yet. I'm actually considering doing the Mississippi State online, and getting that certification. But I understood, I'm doing weather anchoring with Cronkite News, but it's Cronkite News. And I kind of was under the impression in the real world, unless you're a meteorologist, you're not really going to be a weather anchor unless it's in a very, very small market. But I just, recorded all my reels. I put them out on YouTube, put them out on LinkedIn, and I'm very blessed that a lot of news directors reached out, and they were like, hey, we really like your work. We want to talk to you. We have a weather opening. And apparently there's a lot of weather openings all across the board. So it actually just worked out really well. So, biggest tip to anyone is, one, you don't have to have that meteorologist certification. If you love it and you're passionate about it, just put all of your work out there and the jobs will come.
What would you say got you into journal? I kind of ask everybody this. Is kind of, you had to get into journalism for a reason, or even just news in general. What got you into it?
Yeah, so I grew up in Seattle, and Seattle is very, very diverse in terms of there's just a lot of people of a lot of different colors. But as diverse as Seattle was, for reference, I'm Filipino, black and white, and I would watch the news every single morning before school, and every single person on all the newses in Seattle, they looked the same. They were all white, men or women. And I was a little confused. I was like, oh, the only time I see representation from my own self is when it's not in a good light. It's in a negative light, and that really bothered me. For my black side, it was only when someone of that race was committing a crime, and then the only time I ever saw Asian representation was during the whole Asian hate thing over COVID. So that, again, really drove me to be a figure of, I want to show other people that look like me that they also can be in a power of sharing the news and being on the good side of news. So in in high school, first year I was doing the newspaper, and by sophomore year I was head editor of sports and news for my newspaper. I applied to Cronkite, got in, and here we are 4 years later.
Awesome, yeah. And tell us a little bit about, how long have you worked here for?
I've been at Fillmore for a little over a year now, I want to say.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been such a great part-time job while balancing school and internships. So, and it's also just right down the street. I literally have.
It's a walk right there.
Yeah, I've literally opened at Fillmore, gotten my own coffee, and then walked across the street to Cronkite for class. So it's a really good gig.
Awesome. What has been your favorite part of, your 4 years at ASU so far?
Oh, my favorite part, obviously, all of the amazing opportunities that have came with journalism. I'm from Washington, and I do have some friends that are at the Muro College at Wazoo, and that's the best journalism school at Wazoo. But none of them are even getting the chance to do anything close to Cronkite News until after they graduate. So being able to do all that stuff on Arizona PBS by my sophomore year is just an incredible experience. But besides that, just the lifelong friendships I've made. I've told my parents I've met my bridesmaids here. I've met some of the bestest friends. In my 4 years at Cronkite, we got, and we all had to go through COVID together. That was scary, doing that in the dorms. That happened my second semester freshman year, as you know. So I think just going through a very crazy time, having to cover that in the news, not being sure what's going on, but just forming those lifelong friendships has to be what I'm most, thankful for in the 4 years.
Awesome. Well, Isabella Fredrickson, thank you so much for allowing us in and accommodating us and joining us this morning. You definitely have a bright future, according to what you told me, that I can't tell anybody, and I'm going nuts wanting to say something. But I'm going to say when it's announced, I am definitely going to say I knew you when. So, Isabella Fredrickson, thanks so much. Manager here at Fillmore, but also going to be graduating from Cronkite here really soon. Thanks for joining us on the Varsity Sports Show, and thanks for allowing us in.
Of course. You guys are welcome anytime. Please come see me for that coffee. Thank you so much for having me. It was really nice chatting with you all.
All right. Okay, so guys, let's talk a little bit about today's show. We've got some good things coming up. First of all, we have all of the amazing segments that you guys prepare throughout the week on current events and exciting things happening and fun things happening, and that's really what sets us apart. We talk about this constantly, is that you miss a minute, you miss a lot. We've got some great live guests coming up today. We're also going to be joined by our biggest listener, our most devoted fan. We're going to be, I'll wait to announce it a little bit later on in the show, but we go toe-to-toe constantly, and she's an amazing person, and we're going to hear about her story. Eric, you talked to me about feel-good stories. I took it to heart, and today we've got a real feel-good story, and it's going to be coming on later in the show, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But first, let's go to Around the Globe with Maya Denise Gaskin.
It's more than just a game. Sit back and relax for a global overview of sports and sports cultures, games around the globe, and coverage of countries worldwide. Welcome to Around the Globe with Maya Denise Gaskin. Good morning, Arizona. This is your host, Maya Denise Gaskin, with another segment of Around the Globe. Let's get into it. Today, we've got two stories that are sure to grab your attention. First up, it's the world of soccer. Soccer fans around the world are rejoicing as the sport is back in full swing. But there's one team that's stealing the spotlight, and that's Paris Saint-Germain. The French team has made headlines this week by signing Lionel Messi, who is arguably the best soccer player in the world. Messi was a free agent after leaving Barcelona, and PSG wasted no time in securing his services. The move has sent shockwaves through the soccer world, and many are wondering if PSG is now the strongest team in the world. It's a story that will no doubt continue to develop, and we'll be sure to keep you updated as it does. Now, let's switch gears to a different sport that's been making headlines recently: tennis. Specifically, we're talking about the U.S. Open, which is currently underway in New York. While there have been plenty of great matches and exciting moments, one story has been dominating the headlines in the absence of some of the sport's biggest stars. Both Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal pulled out of the tournament due to injuries, with Novak Djokovic being the only member of the Big Three left. Some are questioning whether the U.S. Open has lost some of its pizzazz. But even with these stars, the tournament has still delivered some amazing moments, and there'll be sure to be plenty more. Thank you so much for listening to this week's segment of Around the Globe. I'm your host, Maya Denise Gaskin, on KDUS 1060, the Varsity Sports Show. And until next week, have a beautiful day.
I'll turn those picks into gold.
Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Wiley. I'm from the LA area, and I study sports journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU. From being the sports editor at my high school to being a broadcast reporter for Cronkite News, I like to say I bring a nice versatility to the show. Whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, can't wait to bring you guys high school sports content on the Varsity Sports Show. See you guys there.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Hi, my name is Jacob Seaver with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am currently a sophomore at Arizona State University's Walter Cronkite School for Journalism and Mass Communication. I am excited to be on the mic this year and looking forward to bringing you some of the best high school and JUCO content that the world has to offer. Definitely looking forward to seeing you and for you to hear me on the Varsity Sports Show.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Good morning, Arizona. Welcome to this segment presented by the Varsity Sports Show that features high school highlights from the Valley. Sebastian has a special news for you. Let's see what's in store today. Hello, and welcome to another amazing episode of AZ High School Highlights. In this week, we dive into two matchups of softball between Desert Vista against Perry and Sunnyside against Ironwood Ridge. Lots of highlights to cover. Here we go. First up, a 5-2 victory for Desert Vista over Perry. For its fourth straight victory, Desert Vista used walks, a sacrifice, a single, and a sacrifice run to score 2 runs in the first inning. They also got home runs in the 5th inning from senior Stephanie Kiefer and Ava Brisky. Jocelyn Brisky, a senior pitcher for the Thunder, earned the victory. She pitched the entire game while giving up 3 runs, 2 hits, and 9 strikeouts. Desert Vista received an early advantage thanks to Jocelyn Brisky. In the top of the first inning, she hit 2-run single to the right. The top of the 5th saw the creation of a 5-0 lead. In the first at-bat, Kiefer homered. Ava Brisky hit a home run over the center field fence after 1 out and runner at first. Perry's shortstop Sienna Kunze homered with teammate Sammy Kaufman-Warner abroad, but wasn't enough to take home the victory. Lastly, Sunnyside remains undefeated on the season after a tug-of-war battle between Ironwood Ridge. In the contest against Sunnyside, Bale Wolf turned on the pitch in the bottom of the 2nd inning to blast a 3 RBI shot with 2 outs, scoring Alexis Martinez, Aspen Nelson, and herself. Lola Weber also contributed on an infield single to score Mia Gutierrez to give the Nighthawks a 1-0 lead after the first inning. Sunnyside scored 2 runs throughout the 4th and 6th innings. Both teams were showing life as the Nighthawks and the Blue Devils kept responding with whatever it took. Singles, RBIs, and errors. Finally, Gracie Ayala singled to start the top of the 7th, and her pitch runner Cassandra Alcaraz scored another error later in the inning to make it 9-7 Sunnyside. The Nighthawks put 2 on the bottom of the 7th with 1 out, but a double play ended the extravagant game. Thank you all for tuning in this week and have an amazing varsity day.
Hello, sports fan, as you're listening to the NIA Sports Report coming from Varsity Sports. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm your host, Brandon Tran, and I get to welcome back on the call today an Ottawa basketball head coach, and Matt Healy. How are you, Matt?
Good, Brandon. How are you doing today, man? Good to be here.
It's good to see you again, too. Let's start off about your amazing season so far.
Yeah, like basketball seasons can tend to be long. You know, we get going in September, and obviously, if it's a good season, we're playing well into March, and we were able to do that this year with a nice postseason run through our conference tournament and then through the national tournament, and finished up this last weekend. So took yesterday to catch our breath, and we're back in the office today trying to get back at it.
And what does it mean to you to making those runs in the tournament, whether it's through conference and NAIA tournament?
The NAIA tournament, yeah. It's winning is more fun than losing. So as you continue to navigate tournaments, that's always a fun part of it, especially with this year's group. We had so many seniors. We had 5 seniors. And so every time we won, we were able to prolong our season and hang out together for another day or two and earn ourselves another practice and another chance to compete. And that was really kind of the motivation for this year's group, was just to extend the season as long as we could.
And it feels like you were like the underdog, like you're not supposed to be here, but you somehow went further than you think.
Yeah, we were seated 7th, I think, in our quad, which made us a top 25 team overall. But, we kind of took on that demeanor at different times of maybe not being expected to win. But our group had a lot of confidence in themselves and knew that if we would play together and play hard, that's kind of what they embodied as a little bit of an upset special and, Cinderella run, as they say this time of year. And so that made it a lot of fun.
Thank you, Matt Keeley, for having you on the call, and good luck in your off season.
Thanks a lot, Brandon. I appreciate the time today.
He's back again, DYLAN. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show segment. It's Dylan, featuring Dylan and highlighting his latest adventures. This segment is brought to you by Chris Scott of Remax Key Properties in Bend, Oregon. Now it's time to grab your snacks, turn your volume up as you tune into It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome back to It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show. I'm your host, Sabrina, and of course, I'm here with none other than Dylan. Dylan, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I really appreciate it. How are you?
I appreciate you, Sabrina. Thank you so much for having me. What's going on this week?
Nothing much is going on this week, but we talked about it the last time, about 2 weeks ago. I told you March is the home for an important event, important couple events.
Yeah, and I guessed a bunch of them that weren't March Madness.
I remember how we talked about early in the year, you were withholding, yourself from watching sports and everything. Have you been watching anything so far, whether it's been on the men's or women's side of March Madness?
No, I get highlights, and then I just I see the headlines, and I was about as shocked as anyone else, although it's sort of what I was hoping for as a sports fan, or just the intrigue of the tourney. Like, you get one shot and anybody can make a run or make an upset or pull something off. And it seems this year, based off of my Facebook posts that I read, everybody's brackets were busted pretty early, and then they weren't just busted, they were crushed. They were done. Everybody was done after a couple rounds.
Yeah. So we talked about it a little bit. The whole idea of a perfect bracket, that's kind of its own competition in itself before the games even start.
Exactly.
And the first 2 games of March Madness for the guys' side, all the brackets really got messed up and everything. Why do you think we make a big deal about the brackets themselves and getting that perfect bracket?
It's one time a year, right? It's anything. It's like anything else. You want to be perfect. You want to root for your team, but you also want to root against teams that you don't like, and you're hoping for an underdog and a Cinderella story. So a lot of that just comes off of, passion, sports, right? We're all really passionate about things, and I've been there, and I'm probably going to end up back there. Right now, I'm just taking a little break from it, but that it's just so crazy to see some of the small schools. Honestly, schools that I had never heard of. I don't know where they are, and they're pulling off these major upsets, and I think that's cool for because those kids now have their lives in front of them, and their grandchildren and their grandchildren, and it's going to go on forever and ever and ever because they made history.
Who do you see out of these 16 teams winning it all?
I'm just going to go out there. If Sampson's still at Houston, I like Houston. If he's still there, haven't been following. I don't know if he's still there, but I'm going to go with Houston. My other, I guess, would be San Diego State. And, my luck, they're probably playing each other because I haven't seen the brackets or anything. But
they're not playing each other, actually.
Okay, so those two would be my faves for the Sweet 16 to move forward and beyond.
Excited to see it. Dylan, thank you again so much for being here. And then obviously, if San Diego State wins, we're going to be bringing this conversation back because you definitely heard it here first that Dylan thinks San Diego State might win it.
This will be a soundbite that lasts forever if that's the case.
Thanks, Dylan.
All right, have a good one.
And thank you to you for tuning into It's Dylan on the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to Nate Takes. This is Beatrice Martinez, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Today, we will be hearing from former NFL player Nathan LeDuc on his thoughts on how the NCAA upgrades the women's weight room for March Madness after being called out by Oregon's player Sedona Prince through a TikTok video.
This may not sound very good. I think that it ultimately comes down to economics. And that's what everything comes down to in the entire world, right? Unless you're able to generate revenue, then your value is just not going to be the same. And so in the landscape of college sports, there's two sports that have a chance of generating revenue, and that's football and men's basketball. And that's not to say that those generate revenue at every university. I'm just saying that those are the only two sports that generally generate any revenue at all for the university. So everything else runs in a deficit, and all of the other sports get supported by the football and the basketball. I'm guessing that it's possible that what was shown on television could have been exaggerated, possibly. I don't know. That'd be my thought on it, because I'm old, and you know, how long ago was it I was at ASU? 1990 was my last year, so now we're 30 years later, and back in the 80s, there was very adequate facilities for everybody to work out. So I don't know. But I guess again, it all comes down to economics, and that's ultimately the trump card that runs life, which is, may or not be right all the time, but it is what it is.
That again was Nathan LeDuc. I'm Beatrice Martinez, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
Alrighty, and we're back here at the Fillmore Coffee Company here downtown Phoenix. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Eric Castellan. I'm still joined alongside Alexis Davis. And Alexis, we just heard some of those segments. It's kind of a little untimely now, but I think all the number one seeds in the bracket are gone now. What is your take on that?
Yeah, for me, I feel like it just amplifies what March Madness is supposed to be. For me, I feel like I naturally just root for the underdog. Of course, people really like to see greatness, and they like to see greatness when it's played out. But I really think that, March Madness is the chance for, the underdog to really, just come out.
Yeah, it's insane. This weekend, these past couple of days, it's been a great intro to this Sweet 16 Elite 8 weekend, and it's only going to continue from here. Bama's gone, Houston's gone. Who do you think is winning it now?
For me, I don't really have a pick as far as the men's side goes. I feel like on the women's side, I definitely think that South Carolina is going to take it all. I think a lot of people right now are trying to figure out if Dawn Staley is building a dynasty right now, or is it just a repeat and then it's over? And then a lot of people are trying to figure out, okay, well, what does a dynasty really look like at this point? Because when you think of women's college basketball, you're used to thinking about UConn's program, but now it's like, okay, South Carolina's program is really up in the ranks. And then also right now there are more people Googling the women's tournament than they are Googling the men's tournament. So I think it's just an overall win right now for women's sports.
Yeah, and the same thing happened in the women's too. Maybe not all four number one seeds per se, but Indiana and Stanford both went down, both in the round of 32, and that's pretty shocking on its own too. They're both power programs, and they both just kind of, like you said, March is it's madness. It really is, and it's just fun to see exactly how everything plays out, and it's going to be a heck of a week and a half until both these national championship games. And
yeah, I definitely think a player to watch throughout this whole thing is really going to be Angel Reese, not just because what she's doing on the court, but I feel like also just who she is as a person. She was at University of Maryland. She felt like she couldn't really be who she wanted to be, so that's why we didn't really see her having these back-to-back double-doubles. But now that she is at LSU, she's really able to be herself, and she's proven how well players can play when they can be fully themselves. She's had over 10 games, probably over 15 games this season before even March Madness, where she's had multiple double-doubles. And also she shows up as her authentic self. She shows up hair done, lashes done, just as full feminine, representation of a player. And I think a lot of times people try to cap that. So with her, being able to be her full self, we see we're getting results, and she's come up big every game, especially in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a tournament so far. All right, when we come back from the break, I'm going to have my guest along with us, is Boulder Creek assistant varsity basketball coach Trevor Thirsk, when we come back here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
It's game time, and we're here to win. Hi, I'm Sabrina Giles. I'm a senior at ASU and studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications, with my major being sports journalism. I'm excited to announce that this spring I will be working with the Varsity Sports Show to bring you any and all things sports. From commentary to broadcast, I'll be working to cover your favorite teams and make my mark on the world of sports journalism.
Hello, my name is Hannah Pettiferry, and I am currently a student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications here at Arizona State University. I am beyond excited to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this spring. Growing up, I have always played sports, and now I cannot wait to be able to study, analyze, and commentate on the sports that are being played this season in Arizona.
Your morning drive just got a little better. The Dan Patrick Show is live weekday morning starting at 6 exclusively on KDUS AM 1060.
Alrighty, and we're back here at the Fillmore Coffee Company in downtown Phoenix. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Eric Castellan, and I'm joined alongside Vince D'Elizio and Alexis Davis. But right now, we have a guest joining us, and it is Boulder Creek varsity basketball assistant coach Trevor Thirsk. Coach, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. Still waking up a little bit. Well, I got to say, congrats on your guys' season. You guys had a heck of a run there. You guys got bumped in the first round of the first ever Open. Made it all the way to the 6A state semifinal game. How would you say you guys, attribute to your success this season?
A lot of it's just the hard work and dedication by the guys. I mean, we've come a long way in the last 4 to 5 years. 2 years back-to-back Final Fours in 6A. Both of them heartbreaking losses. Last year, overtime 1-point loss to Hamilton. Who went on to play in the state championship, and then, of course, this year the buzzer beater loss to Brophy. But both games were competitive. It's a great experience for our guys to get that far in the playoff. But a lot of it is their hard work and dedication throughout the off season, and putting in that work, getting a lot of games in, being together, being united as a group, and then that obviously translates to win during our regular season, and that's ultimately what led to our success over the last few years.
Yeah, and then piggybacking on that success you just talked about, most of the year you guys were doing it without one of your best players, Rowan McKenzie. He was hurt for most of the season and then all that postseason run. What does it mean, especially to you and the rest of the coaching staff, to have the other guys behind him step up and basically just win all these games without their guy out there?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts to lose a guy like Rowan. I mean, obviously, in the one game that he played most, and he only played, I think, 17 minutes. I mean, he came out and scored 26 points. It's hard to lose that on the offensive end, but also, I mean, he's a big, strong kid. He's got a big wingspan. So on the defensive side of the court, it hurts as well. But you know, we've got guys who. A strong core group of guys who have played together for, 5-6 solid years, even before high school. They play close to 100 games a year. So we know that we've got guys who can step up and fill roles if need be. They've got the confidence to do it. We had a lot of guys, John Zeller came off the bench this year. He shot phenomenal from, three-point range. Filled some big minutes. Eston, Carson, they all played really well. And, so could some things been different with Rowan playing? Probably, but, the guys did a phenomenal job this year. Everybody stepped up, filled that role, and, almost got us to the state championship.
Yeah, and like you said, you were talking about, you came into this program 4 or 5 years ago, and you came into it alongside the current head coach now, that's Justin Collard, and you guys kind of changed the dynamic of everything. What would you say you changed the most once you guys got there?
A lot of it was, the culture. We knew the culture had to change. I was with the program before Justin came on, and he started as our freshman coach when he moved up from Texas. And we had a lot of, 4-win, 5-win seasons. And so we knew things had to change. We got the hiring process, as that hiring process went through, Coach Collard didn't actually get the job until right before the season started. So there was a lot of uncertainty going into it. But we had a good group of guys who worked really hard. I think about midway through that season, we probably only had about 4 wins, but we went to play Desert Vista, who was the number 1 team in the state at that time. And they were basically guaranteed to win the state championship. I mean, they were hands down the best team in the state. And we went in with our group with 4 wins, and we won that game at Desert Vista and shocked everybody. They're the number 1 team in the state. I think we were probably down around 30-32. And at that point, the kids started believing that they could do it, and it really helped to define and set the culture. And it was a culture that we gave them the tools, but our players ultimately established what the culture was going to be, and it's just built on that year after year. It's provided opportunities for us to create, feeder programs for our feeder schools to come up and really develop and start teaching the culture, what the expectations are to kids who are in 7th and 8th grade before they even get to the high school. So when they get there, they know what's expected of them. And so that has been a big part of it. We always get great groups of kids. We do a lot on and off the court together. We get together at people's houses to watch NCAA tournaments, NBA playoffs. We do a lot of community service together. So our guys spend a lot of time together throughout the year, both on and off the court. And I think that really helps create that bond and that unity on the court. I think if you've got guys who don't like being around each other, it's hard to gel on the court. So that's really led to our success, outside of the fact that Coach Collard puts a ton of time into the team. I mean, I don't think he ever sleeps. He eats, sleeps basketball.
Yeah, he does.
And his work and his work ethic is carried over to the kids, and that's ultimately helped to build the success of the program.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, that's all the time we have for you, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a good rest of your morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And up next, we got the Alexis Assist here on the Varsity Sports Show. And then we'll be joined right after the break with even more great content here on the Varsity Sports Show. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Alexis with the assist. Not like the NBA all-time leader in assists, John Stockton, but better. I am going to be assisting you with basketball nuggets so you'll have one up on your friends the next time you guys talk sports.
It's a new basketball week, and that means it's time for new basketball news. Every person that follows basketball, it's their favorite time of the year. March Madness has been living up to its name like no other, with the Final Four tournaments taking over Texas in both Dallas and Houston. Once March Madness is over, the hoops don't stop right there. Next up, it'll be the official start of the WNBA season. The season will begin on April 10th with the draft and followed up with training camp. In high anticipation of the draft, ESPN put out their first version of what they predict round one of the draft to look like. ESPN has South Carolina Gamecock Aaliyah Boston as their number one overall pick. Since coming into the NCAA, Boston has had her eyes all on her for many reasons. She contributes to the dynasty Don Staley is building in South Carolina. Not only is she making a name for herself on the court, she also shows up unapologetically as herself with braids in whatever color she chooses. In the midst of March Madness, many women's basketball experts have the Gamecocks winning another title. If the Gamecocks can lock in the second title in 5 years, it will help prove why Boston should remain at the top spot. Next, coming in at number 2, ESPN has Diamond Miller sitting comfortably at this spot. Miller profoundly wears Maryland red and white. ESPN predicts she will be taking her talents to Minnesota. Miller continues to show up in big moments for the Terps, and WNBA teams are constantly looking for new players that they can count on to come in when they need a clutch player. The only concern ESPN poses for Miller not being the number 2 pick is Minnesota might want to broaden their post selection. That's all this week for Alexis with the assist.
You are listening to Under the Radar, a segment based around overlooked players around the AZ area, with your host, Caleb Wiley. Good morning and welcome to another Under the Radar segment on the Varsity Sports Show. I am Caleb Wiley, your host. And for this segment, I have 2 seniors that are under the radar that are really, really good, but don't have any D1 offers as of yet. And last segment, or the past couple segments, I've been doing underclassmen, and this one, like I said, will be 2 seniors. So let's just get right into it. The first player I want to talk about is out of Verrado High School in Buckeye by the name of Xavion Bynyard. Now, Xavion definitely had a jump from his junior year to his senior year. He went from scoring 12 a game to 27 a game, and you can really see the way his game has improved. I went to go see a game that he played in, and he looked amazing in the game that I watched. He does have some problems academically, which is maybe why he doesn't have a D1 offer as of yet, but he's extremely talented, can score on all 3 levels, has a really good jump shot, has a really good pull-up, has a really good spin move. So he's just a really good all-around player, and I hope that he's going to be able to play D1 besides having some problems in the classroom. Now, the next player I want to talk about is out of Peoria High School, out of Peoria City, of course, by the name of Andrew Camacho. Now, I haven't seen him play, but I know some people that have seen him play, and he's a really good shooter. Like, he's a sharpshooter. Insane sharpshooter. He's played varsity all 4 years of high school. He did average 25 with 5 assists. So he is a good player, but the main thing about him, like the absolute main thing about him, is he has an insane sniper on him. He's an insane strap, really good shooter, shoots the best of them, really, really good. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you for listening to Under the Radar on the Varsity Sports Show.
Yeah, I mean, I can really appreciate segments like Under the Radar, just giving those people that are really just not necessarily given the chance to really shine. You know, they're here, they're able to come on the Varsity Sports Show and shine through that segment every week. What do you think about it, Eric?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I feel like you get a lot of attention to all these big name players, and even here in high school, too. You know, you got to appreciate the little guy a little bit, you know, give the little guy a chance. So, especially, you know, in a month like March, you know, we've talked about it for a while, too. So, you know, it's nice to get some little bit of recognition there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, right. A little bit after we come back from the break, we'll hear Jodeci's segment that she does every week, talking about more JUCO sports, more kids that are running under the radar. So we just keep giving people chance after chance to be heard on the show, and we're going to go ahead and see you all after break.
Hey, Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m.
This is just something I like to call breakfast.
With big-name guests, timely sports information, and more on KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Mickey. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio with my colleagues here, Alexis Davis and Eric Castellan, live from downtown Phoenix's Fillmore Coffee Company. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, and we have a familiar voice on the show, Saguaro High School SaberCat baseball coach Joe Mickey. Coach Mickey, how are you doing, sir?
Oh, fantastic, Vince. Good morning. Good morning to the crew.
Yeah, Coach, you know, it's I'm going to start. Normally we start off and we have you talk about the week that we just wrapped up and how things are going, but I'm going to specifically talk about a couple of kids. One in particular, you know, whenever we are the official broadcast team of Saguaro SaberCat Athletics, where we love the partnership we've had with Saguaro the past couple of years. But when we do your games and we wrap up games, we have a player of the game. And one guy that's a familiar face, I don't know if he's tired of getting interviewed, but Cade Schumart. Talk about Cade Schumart and what he's doing. His uniform's all dirty all the time. It's, you know, full of dirt, front and back. I mean, what is this guy? This guy's a real utility guy for you.
He is, and, you know, it's just a testament to his offseason. Truthfully, I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, he worked real hard this offseason. He was in our rotation last year, kind of as a number 3 arm. He had a little injury bug as far as taking the line drive back off a finger that was a non-throwing hand last year, and kind of put him on the shelf for a few weeks. And finished the year strong last year, but this year just kind of taking that leadership role. He plays outfield, center field, right field for us. But on the mound, he's just been special. At the plate, he's been doing his job, and just couldn't be happier for the kid. And as a program and a team, I mean, you need guys like that to kind of lead from the front. He's definitely been doing that in all phases. And I think when, you have guys step up like that, it definitely sets the tone for the lineup. And definitely defensively, we feel like we have a pretty good chance to go out and be successful. And like you said, he's handled that well and been on the post game several times just because of the success he's had and leading us to some of those big W's.
Yeah, Coach Mickey, Eric Castellan here. I had a chance to do a couple of your games called play-by-play, and I think both of those games I got a chance to see Cade pitch, and not even that. You talked about that day I was there, the rotation as a whole. What would you say is attributing most to, say, your pitching staff's overall success?
Well, I think you're only as good as the guys around you. I got to give our credit to Coach Dave Fortney, our pitching coach, who really works hard with these guys on the mental side, and then their buy-in. I mean, Eric, as you know, it's you kind of lead a horse to water, but they have to drink, and our pitching staff is definitely challenging each other and really competing at a high level for wanting the ball. It makes it hard for some guys on the back end when guys are having such success, but you're also rooting real hard for those guys because you want, in turn, when it's your time to take the ball on the mound or your number's called, to have that same support. And so we have a real special thing kind of going on the pitching side of things where guys are pulling hard for each other, but we're seeing such a competitive success that it's making it fun. And so when you start having success, too, that buy-in becomes higher and, their process becomes better. And so we're seeing a nice little kind of perfect storm of guys just really trying to be their best for the program. And that's a special thing as a coaching staff when you get to watch that unfold.
Coach, Alexis Davis here. It seems like your athletes are pretty much playing baseball in Arizona at the right time, at the right place with the right people, with spring training going on and then the World Baseball Classic. So having those prime examples of premier baseball at its best, what do you think that does for your athletes being able to be around all of that all at once, even if they don't physically go to any of the games, just knowing that it's right around the corner? What do you think that makes them feel as far as being around all of this premier baseball?
No, I think that's a great point, Alexis. And that's the whole thing, truthfully, is that you kind of watch how the best players in the world do certain things. And then spring training, I talked to our guys about going before games to watch their pregame routines and truly watch them prepare. I know we get to see kind of the highlights of the 2-hour games or, when that's actually the lights are on, but it's really all the preparation. And I kind of call Arizona baseball Disneyland or a Mecca, right? Because it is that what you're talking about, just great opportunities to see some of these high-level athletes, the best in the world. And so if you truly want to be good at any craft, you definitely follow the lead of those individuals. And so we truly try to kind of embrace that and say, hey, this is how this looks, and this is why they're where they are. And we try to take advantage of that. And you also are humbled for the fact that there is so much good baseball here. You just want to be a part of that success and kind of continue branding yourself in that same regard as a program. But for these kids, it's definitely take notice and watch how these athletes kind of go about their business, because that's what it takes.
Awesome. All righty. Thank you, Coach. Saguaro Baseball head coach Joe Mickey. Coach, you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you next time.
I always appreciate the time. Thank you. You as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And coming up next on the Varsity Sports Show, we got the overview with Olivia and also the JUCO Sports Report with Jodeci, so make sure to stay tuned for that.
Hi everyone, welcome to Overview with Olivia. In today's episode, I'll be discussing what sports fans can look forward to here in the Valley. It's official, spring has sprung. With warmer weather, there are more sports and activities to enjoy outside. Sadly, spring training is coming to a close, and the last preseason game is on Tuesday, March 28th. Not to worry though, the regular season will then take over, and there are plenty of sports to still attend around the Valley. The Arizona Diamondbacks have had a dynamic preseason and are eager to translate that into the 2023 regular season. The D-backs will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium on March 30th, opening day. The Diamondbacks will then return home on April 6th for their first home game of the regular season against the Dodgers and hope for home field advantage. The Arizona Rattlers return home to the Footprint Center for their first home game of the season. The Rattlers will take on the Tucson Sugar Skulls on April 8th. Although ASU basketball has been eliminated from March Madness, many ASU athletics are still in action. The Sun Devil baseball and softball teams are heating up. For baseball, the boys are set to take on the Arizona Wildcats at home in Phoenix Municipal Stadium March 24th through the 26th. The softball team is away at Cal State for a 3-game series. Although Kevin Durant is out with an ankle injury, Suns fans can still enjoy Paul and Booker as they take on the Philadelphia 76ers at home on Saturday, the 25th. And be sure to take a trip out to Mullet Arena in Tempe to watch the Coyotes as they take on the Colorado Avalanche and stay home for the following 3 games. That's it for this edition of Overview with Olivia. We'll catch you next time.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. This is the JUCO Sports Report. And now, here is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report.
Welcome to the JUCO Sports Report. I'm your host, Jodeci Ariana, bringing you all the results from the women's basketball playoff. 3 Arizona junior colleges will participate in the 2023 NJCAA Women's Basketball Tournament for Divisions 1 and 2. The Division 1 NJCAA Women's Basketball Tournament will feature 2 Arizona junior colleges. Eastern Arizona College finished their season 29-1 and was placed in the 12th seed for the national tournament. Eastern Arizona College finished first in the ACC-AC conference after winning Region 1 Division 1 title. Eastern Arizona College will play North Dakota State College of Science, who finished their season 29-4 and was placed in the 22nd seed. This will be Eastern Arizona College's second national tournament appearance. This is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report on the women's basketball playoffs. The Division II NJCAA Women's Basketball Tournament will feature 1 Arizona junior college. Cochise College finished their season 27-5 overall and was placed in the 23rd seed for the national tournament. Cochise College women's team finished second in the ACC-AC conference after losing the Region 1 Division 1 title. Cochise College will play Collin College, who finished their season 28-1 and was placed in the 10th seed. Cochise College and Eastern Arizona College will play in Lubbock, Texas, where the tournament will be held. This is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report on the women's basketball playoffs. The Division II NJCAA Women's Basketball Tournament will feature 1 Arizona junior college. Pima Community College finished their season 26-7 and was placed in the 7th seed for the national tournament. Pima Community College finished 3rd in the ACC-AC conference after winning the Region 1 Division 2 title. Pima Community College will play North Central Missouri, who finished their season 23-7 and was placed in the 10th seed for the national tournament. Pima Community College will play in Point Huron, Michigan. This is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report on the women's basketball playoffs.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Vince Delicio out at Fillmore Coffee Company with my broadcast partners today, Eric Castellan and Alexis Davis. Congratulations, by the way, to our junior colleges here in Arizona. Pima Community College in Tucson, Cochise College down in Sierra Vista, Douglas, and Scottsdale Community College, all playing in national tournaments. They wrapped this week, but great job and congratulations. Way to represent the state of Arizona. And I'm a big junior college guy, as you guys know. It's where I cut my teeth in this industry in covering junior colleges. So Jodeci does a great report on that every week for us. Guys, it's been an amazing show so far. We're just about wrapped with our first hour. We got much more to come in hour number 2, right, Eric?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Right when we come back from the break, we're going to have GCU Club bowling coach Ben Canfield. That's going to be part
bowling.
of it.
Wow.
Yeah, bowling. The GCU Club report. That's going to be what brings us right out of break. And later on, we're going to have Rofi quarterback Charlie McGinnis, somewhere in that 17 range around.
Okay.
Yeah, we also got Mike Beal. We're going to have Beachin' with Beal as well.
Beachin' with Beal. There you go. And then we have our surprise guest. We put it on social media, but my mom is joining us, but she's our biggest fan, so she's got some good things that she wants to talk about, and you guys got to tune in. She's very animated, very blunt to the point, but she's also my mom, so what can you say?
Oh, yeah, we also got one more. Alexis brought a guest of her own, Phoenix College softball play-by-play Jordy Fleet-Platt. And Alexis, you're excited about that one, aren't you?
Yeah, super excited about that. Again, like I was saying earlier, just giving people that don't usually get a chance in general. And I feel like that just represents what he does, because he could be broadcasting anywhere, but he decides to do Phoenix College. So excited to have him on later.
Yeah, we're going to be right back here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KDUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Hello there, my name is Brandon Tran, and I'm a Cronkite student at Arizona State University, and I'm so thrilled to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this semester. As a former athlete myself, I'll be providing content, both boys and girls, as you can follow me on Twitter at BrandonTran70. As I hope to see you all there this semester and provide great content around you.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is made possible by friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
And now it's time for the GCU Club Report, an in-depth look into the many different club sports that Grand Canyon University has to offer. Hi everyone, my name is Dominic Hernandez, and today I'm very excited to be doing an interview with a member of the GCU Men's Club bowling team, Joshua Malloy. I'd like to start off with, what made you initially want to come to GCU?
My first instinct coming to GCU was that I did a couple tours around a couple different colleges, and this one to me just kind of stood out as like the nicest and the friendliest out of all the ones I went to. I felt like the campus was really nice, and it was big enough to where I had a friend who went here before I did, and he said it was like big enough to meet new people, but small enough to where you always see the people you know, which I feel like you don't get that type of feeling really anywhere else, where it's kind of that nice size of big enough but not feel like you're not going to get lost in the crowd. Personally, I've been bowling for about 15 years, but specifically at GCU, I knew the coach Ben Canfield before I went to GCU. I bowled with junior tournaments where he was a part of them, and GCU is just kind of one of those things where I've met him before, and it just seemed like I saw all the stars align, and it was definitely something that I was interested in because it was close to home, but it was still something competitive that I could do while being in school.
How do you believe that bowling is different compared to all the other sports?
I think it's different just because bowling is typically so individualized that when you think of it as a team sport, it's typically not your first instinct to think of it as a team sport. But I like the interesting feel of it just because you have a bunch of guys who are bowling individually to bowl together, which is kind of, some teams kind of stay in that individual mindset, but the really good teams are able to work together as a team and function as a team and score well, even though technically they're all bowling individually.
So I know the team has a yearly showdown against ASU, so just tell me about the experience of being a part of that competition.
That competition is definitely unique. It's one of those things where we have, on and off the lanes, we have a pretty big rivalry with ASU, and it's definitely something we look forward to every year. We haven't been the most successful in the past couple of years, but it's still been pretty darn close, and it's still an enjoyable event for both GCU and ASU, and it's something that we look forward to every year, and hopefully it doesn't go away. So it's definitely a cool way to get the season kicked off, and very competitive, even though it's just between us two, but it's a rivalry that we've had going on for a couple years now.
And lastly, what can we expect from the rest of the season?
Yes, so we have one more tournament coming up, Club Nationals. It's in Indiana this year. Basically, that's kind of like, as a club sport, that's kind of like our final hoorah, compete against other club teams, and it's all Baker, so we all individually bowl into one single game. So it's kind of a little bit more team-oriented, and we've got to work together and gel as a team. And so it's one of those things. We're excited to kind of bowl our final event of the season. It's a little nerve-wracking for some people who are going to be graduating, but it'll be a little bittersweet, but it's still a fun tournament and a fun way to end the year off.
That's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank a member of the GCU Men's Club Bowling Team, Joshua Malloy, for taking the time to do this interview today.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
This has been the GCU Club Report. Thanks for listening.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, live from Fillmore Coffee Company in downtown Phoenix. Vince Delicio here, joined by my broadcast partners, Eric Castellan, Alexis Davis, and we are joined on the line for the GCU Club Report by bowling coach Ben Canfield. I say that with a smile because you think of a team sport, but yet it's so individualized. And one of my favorite bowling movies of all time is Kingpin. Coach Canfield, do you ever see Kingpin?
Oh, yeah. I just brought up all the time for people that, aren't as tuned in with the competitive side of bowling. We're like, oh, yeah, Kingpin. So,
Kingpin, there you go. Little Ernie McCracken and Roy Munson. Coach, how's it going? Tell us a little bit about your program.
Yeah, it's going great. We have a great program. I've been with the team since 2015 after I graduated and bowled myself across town at ASU. And we've grown a lot. I had over 40 students this year. We had a full competitive men's roster, which is 24 guys, and then about 7 or 8 ladies that traveled as well. And so from a numbers standpoint, we're huge, and we're still making waves at the national in the national rankings as a top 25 team and a top 10 club program as well. So all in all, pretty good season.
Coach, Eric Castellan here. I got a quick question for you. I got a chance to look at your roster a little bit, and I kind of noticed it's pretty diverse in terms of, lower classmen and upperclassmen. What do you think about the, having an even amount of, say, freshmen, sophomores, and then even juniors and seniors, and kind of what that's like as a team?
Yeah, it's good for, the future growth of our team and keeping guys in the program that know what to expect and can kind of give back to those new guys. But also, we have a lot of talented freshmen that come in too that step in right away and compete at the highest level of our program. So it's fun to see those relationships being built throughout the year. I think any coach, would want that, right? You want to have a mix of seniors that can lead on and off the lanes, and then, talented freshmen that come in that are hungry and ready to, help us be successful.
Coach, Alexis Davis here. I'm interested to know how you personally got into bowling and, just taking it serious and kind of, making it more than just a hobby, something that you wanted to dedicate yourself to getting better in, and then later on helping other people of all ages get better at their craft.
Yeah, I got into the sport pretty late. The first tournament I ever competed in was in my junior year of high school, and I kind of just picked it up when I was a sophomore as something fun to do, and it turned into something, way more inclusive than that, and I fell in love with competing. I went to Arizona State for school, and they had a sub bowling team, and I was like, oh, I'll try this, and it was great, and my coach there taught me a ton, and by my junior year, I had developed into a bowler that could compete at a national level, and it led me to pursue coaching and competing, post-college, and that's the long story short of how I've gotten to where I am today. I've coaching for 8 years now.
Coach, you talked about going to ASU, and it's kind of ironic now. You have that yearly rivalry with ASU. What's it like being the coach of GCU's bowling team and then going and facing your alma mater? And what is that like? What is a speech like that you give to your team when you're basically facing the school that you used to go to?
It's fun. My coach, my personal coach, is still the coach there at ASU, and so we have a great relationship. I call him every week, and we catch up, and I want to win every year, and it's been kind of a back and forth since we started, even in my early years when our team wasn't as competitive to now. Every time we have the match, it comes down to the final couple games, which is super fun for all of us. And, it's our first event of the year, and it doesn't really impact our rankings, but there's a lot of pride that goes along with it. And it's a good way to get things started. And so, we didn't come out on top this year, but I think out of all the tournaments we bowled with them in the regular season, I think they only beat us once. So we got some bragging rights there, and hopefully come next October we'll be able to get that trophy back in our possession for another year.
Yeah, Coach, Alexis again. I have a close friend that really enjoys bowling. They go bowling with their work colleagues every Monday. So can you kind of just talk about how bowling kind of brings a sense of camaraderie around people, whether if they're bowling, competitively, or if they're just bowling, as a hobby? Can you kind of talk about what it is about bowling that kind of brings out that camaraderie and with people?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty accessible sport, and there's a recreational side and a competitive side, and everybody's been to a bowling birthday party or whatnot, and so people know about it, and it's pretty easy to grab a ball that fits your hand and isn't too heavy and throw it down the lane, and so it's fun, just the natural atmosphere that being in a bowling center usually provides. Cosmic bowling or league bowling is pretty open to all walks of life, and that's one of my favorite parts of coaching is that you meet so many different people, and there's people that I bowled with in college or I've coached that I never would have met if it wasn't for our common affinity for the sport of bowling, and that's pretty cool to be a part of, and I think it's a reason why there's still bowling alleys all over the country, and it's still one of the largest participated sports in the world.
Coach, I got a quick question for you. What goes into, say, like the recruiting? I see that there's a lot of people kind of local around Arizona that come to GCU to play bowling. So, what's the recruiting like there? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I'm pretty connected within the Junior Bowlers Tour, which is a 21 and under tour throughout the Southwest here. So they have conferences in Arizona and California and up in Washington and Vegas. And so I get a lot of bowlers from there as well. And then I also attend every summer the Junior Gold National Championships, which is the youth national championships for the United States, and over 4,000 people compete in that every year, men and women from all ages. And so that's a pretty good, spot for me to go and, pick up a few bowlers here and there from other parts of the country. I think a lot of time that event is in the Midwest or central part of the U.S.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Coach, for taking time out of your morning to come and speak with us. I hope you've inspired someone to go pick up a ball, whether if that's their friends, work colleagues, whatever that may be. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your morning, and we're going to go ahead and head into a break on the Varsity Sports Show.
KDUS AM 1060 is the home to the Dan Patrick Show, the Doug Gottlieb Show, and Sports Map Radio. Catch all the sports content here on AM 1060.
Hi, this is Mesa Community College Assistant Athletic Director Mike Lavella and Modern Day Invincible. You're listening to AM 1060, the Varsity Sports Show, the home of all your junior college sports coverage.
Hello, my name is Dominic Hernandez and I am currently working at the Varsity Sports Show. I am a senior at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Arizona State University. I will be working various jobs from working the camera to doing play-by-play of games. I can't wait to see what unique stories there will be in this upcoming high school sports season and be able to cover all the different sports that every high school has to offer.
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince Delicio, joined by Alexis Davis and Eric Castellan, out here at Fillmore Coffee Company in downtown Phoenix, a beautiful, picturesque setting right off of 4th Street, and I think that's Van Buren. Right behind us there, right? But anyway, is that Fillmore? Oh, yeah, Fillmore Coffee Company. Makes sense. Okay, got it, whatever. All right, anyway, I grew up here of all places. Okay, so join on the line. So there's a reason why we got this guy on. First of all, he's an amazing student athlete, and I want to get to know him a little bit better. But he's the quarterback out at Brophy Prep. He's a student at Brophy, and his name is Charlie McGinnis. Charlie, good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure, our pleasure. Vince here with Eric and Alexis. And Charlie, I want to ask you, so I had a chance to call one of your games this season. We were the play-by-play broadcast team for Saguaro. You guys have to have been, we're going to spend 30 seconds talking about 2022 because I got to know this, and then we're going to get to know you in particular. But you guys had to have been the greatest 3-7 team in the history of America because you had Saguaro on the ropes in that game as well as other opponents, and then you made the playoffs.
Right. I think I would agree with you on that one. We had a lot of close games. Saguaro we lost 2-4. Pinnacle was by 4. I believe Highland was by 5. We were a really tough team, and we just never quit. But we did end up 3-7, so I think I would agree with you on that one.
Hi, Charlie. Eric Castellan here. I got a quick question for you. So, transitioning from football to lacrosse, you're a dual sport athlete, like Vince said, played football and lacrosse. What got you into lacrosse? I know that's not the super popular sport. It's getting more popular by the day. per se. What kind of got you into that sport?
Right. I wanted to play tackle football around 3rd or 4th grade, but my mom didn't let me, and she found lacrosse. We were at like a club event at my elementary school. We found lacrosse. She said you get a helmet and a stick, and I think it's contact, and that kind of, I bought into that, and I just went out there and started playing. I fell in love with it.
Alexis here. So when you are kind of trying to balance both sports, what do you think is kind of the most difficult thing for you to, I guess you could say, fully dedicate yourself to both? What's been the hardest part of that?
I think the hardest part of it can be maybe around communication with some of my teammates. I'll be in the lacrosse season, and some of my football guys will, ask, like, oh, how's it going? Why aren't you at like football weights? And it's like, oh, well, I'm in lacrosse season right now, and not all of them know that. There isn't too many hard parts. My coaches, Coach Jewell and Coach Pat Harbison, they do a great job of communicating and letting me play both sports. So it's been pretty easy sometimes.
Hey, Charlie, Eric here. Going back to football, you guys got a new. I know you're excited probably for your senior year and being able to wrap up all that. You guys got a new offensive coordinator for Brophy, Taylor Mazzone. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Excited to meet him, and just excited for my last year as a senior. Just looking forward to what the next season brings for us.
So when you are, you're having someone brought in that you're pretty much going to work pretty intimately in, he's going to really be helping guide your offense. What are some things that you do to kind of prepare yourself for something that's new? I mean, I know you kind of had your way of running things, just kind of being the quarterback of the team and really just, having to make those game time decisions. Do you feel like you have to prepare yourself to bring someone new in, or do you think you're just pretty open to basically any insights that are available to you?
Yeah, I think you just have to go in with an open mind. He's a new coach, so want to make him feel welcomed, of course. If he needs anything, I'll be there. I just think go in with an open mind, and that's the best way to get through it.
So you talked about you brought the name back up. Your lacrosse coach, Pat Harbison. I actually got a chance to talk to him about a year ago. I remember interviewing him for a Cronkite news segment I was doing. He's a heck of a guy. He's also a pro lacrosse player. Talk about what he's like as a coach. I know he was a real nice guy to talk to, and I talked to him. Just talk about him a little bit. He's an interesting figure for sure.
Yeah, Coach Pat's an awesome guy. I've known him for a long time. I think he started coaching lacrosse for me, I think in 7th or 8th grade. He's super supportive. He's a very helpful coach as well, and always giving me pointers and tips. On the lacrosse team, we all love him. We'll do anything for him, and he's really just a great guy and a great coach.
Yeah, that's it's always nice to have a guy like that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it. Good luck to you in the rest of your lacrosse season, and also senior year of football too. It's going to be a heck of a time for you, I bet.
Yes, it will be. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Alrighty, and coming up here on the Varsity Sports Show, we got some segments we're going to have here. We got Jake Seaver with the recap of the World Baseball Classic, as well as what's going on at U of A and ASU with the Wildcat Insider, and also the Sun Devil Report. So make sure to stay tuned here on the Varsity Sports Show.
The 2023 World Baseball Classic finished up on Tuesday night, with Japan taking down the reigning champs, the United States. The victory boosts Japan's World Baseball Classic record to 3-2, as they now have won 3 out of the 5 World Baseball Classic titles since the event was started in 2006. The final ended in grand fashion, with Japan superstar Shohei Ohtani striking out his Angels teammate Mike Trout with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Here's the clip from ESPN.com.
Trout's ready. 3-2. He struck him out! Ohtani strikes out Trout, and Japan's back on top of the baseball world.
Really, the biggest winner is the fans. Ohtani in Japan are the World Baseball Classic champions, with Ohtani being named World Baseball Classic MVP. In the tournament, he hit .435, .606, and .739, while also pitching to a 1.86 ERA and 9 2/3 total innings pitched. But were gifted an Ohtani versus Mike Trout at bat to close out the championship game in movie fashion. Also in baseball, the Grapefruit and Cactus Leagues both wrap up on Tuesday, March 28th, as MLB teams across the nation prepare for their opening days. Opening day for the Arizona Diamondbacks this year will be on March 30th. This particular opening day will be a tough one for Arizona as they face the LA Dodgers, who a season ago won an MLB best 111 games. This MLB season will definitely be an exciting one as we continue to watch the effects of the rule changes, and we're excited to see the rest of this year.
Welcome. It's time for your Wildcat Insider with Mary Grace Armistead. Your inside report on Wildcat athletics on the Varsity Sports Show. Let's get started. Hi everyone, it's MG on the Varsity Sports Show with your Wildcat Insider. Let's get started. First, we have Arizona men's basketball earning one of the biggest upsets in March Madness this year by losing to 15 Princeton 55-59. Tubella still put up 22 points and is the 13th Wildcat to earn consensus All-American. Arizona baseball sweeps Cal to open up Pac-12 play with 3 series to 0, but then they get swept by 13 UCLA with only winning the last series. The Wildcats still have 9 straight home wins. Arizona men's tennis heads up to California to play Stanford and Cal. The Wildcats beat Cal 4-3 with Nick clinching but lose to Stanford 3-4. Arizona women's tennis beats top 40 Illinois 4-0, but then goes on to beat New Mexico State University also 4-0 the same day. The Wildcats then head up to Washington for Pac-12 play where they beat Washington State 5-2, but lose to Washington 3-4. Arizona women's basketball beats West Virginia in the first round 75-62, but then loses to Maryland after being up by 1 at half, and with a final score of 64-77. Both Kate Reese and Pellington finished their last games as a Wildcat. Arizona softball is top 25 this week with a ranking of 18. They beat New Mexico State University in a sweeping series, but lose to Utah in the Pac-12 home opener with the score of 1-2. Arizona gymnastics beats BYU on senior night. Serena Linton earned season high with a 9.9 on beam. Then in Cal quad meet, they barely finished last against schools like Cal, Sacramento State, and UC Davis. Allison leads the way on bars with a 9.925, tying her career best. The Gym Cats then head to Pac-12 tournament where they played ASU, Stanford, and Washington in the first session. Serena Linton gets a career high of 9.875 on bars, and the Wildcats tie it last with Washington, but Arizona has NCAA individual qualifiers. Serena Linton with beam, Allison Fierce with bar, Malia Hargrove with vault, beam, and floor, and Jessica Castles with beam. Arizona swim and dive, Delaney Schneal finishes 4th in the 3-meter finals and finally earns NCAA champion in the platform dive, also receiving Academic All-American for the second year in a row and 12-time All-American. That's it for your Wildcat Insider. This is Mary Grace Armistead. Tune in on the Varsity Sports Show.
It's time for the Sun Devil Report with Eric Castellon, bringing you all the latest sports news around Arizona State University. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Devil Report. I'm your host, Eric Castellon, and in this episode, we're focusing solely on the men's basketball team and their appearance in this year's NCAA tournament. After a season full of drama and intrigue, the Sun Devils snuck into the NCAA tournament as one of the last 4 in and played in the first 4 game last Wednesday night against Nevada. ASU played its best basketball of the season, crushing the Wolfpack 98-73 by shooting an incredible 64% from the field, setting them up as the 11th seed in the West. They took on 6th-seeded TCU on Friday night. ASU was trailing 13-2 after the first 3 minutes, but they came together and eventually pushed the Horned Frogs to the brink of defeat, leading by as many as 11 in the second half. They were up 65-57 with 4.5 to play until TCU went on a 13-2 run over the next 4 minutes to take a 70-67 lead with 28 seconds left. Senior guard DJ Horn hit a three-pointer to tie the game at 70, but TCU's Jacoby Coles hit a floater with 1 second left to all but seal ASU's fate, ending their terrific season with a 72-70 loss. After the game, head coach Bobby Hurley talked about the emotions running through everyone's mind and wrapped up what a great year it was for the Sun Devils.
Just heartbroken for these guys giving me everything they had all year, just really advanced Arizona State basketball and played winning basketball all year, played unselfishly, played resilient, battled and fought, and it would take, the last shot, to put us away. So I'm just extremely proud and have all the respect in the world for our effort tonight.
Well, that's going to do it for this week. Tune in next week to catch up on what the spring teams are up to, including a glimpse at the spring football practices and how they're going. But until then, I am Eric Castellon, and thank you so much for listening to the Sun Devil Report on the Varsity Sports Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. We are broadcasting from Fillmore Coffee Company. We are just super excited again and just super thankful to everyone at Fillmore Coffee Company, especially Isabella, for giving us the chance to broadcast here. How has it been for you, Eric?
Oh, it's been a blast. I walk by all the time, like I was talking about earlier, and it's nice to be able to come in here and actually get to experience. We've had a lot of people come in here too to SAS. This has been a popular place for sure for the past couple hours, and everybody loves their coffee on the weekend. So, I heard you got a guest coming up. Let's talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, super excited for everyone to listen to Jordy and just have him, just kind of tell his story. He's a really mover and shaker in this Phoenix climate, so super excited to speak to him. And we will have him right after the break.
Interact with Bob Kemp's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kemp's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
Hi, my name is Maya Denise Gaskin, and I'm a 19-year-old student pursuing a degree in broadcast journalism at the University of Arizona. With a passion for sports and a strong background in dance and performance, I'm excited to pursue my dream of becoming a sports broadcaster. In addition to my professional experience, I have a track record of academic success and leadership throughout my community. I currently serve as your Miss Arizona Teen USA, and I'm eager to use my skills and talents to make a positive impact in the world of sports.
This is Coach Lucas Ramirez, and you are listening to the home of the Saguaro Sabercats, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Sports, sports, sports. Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Mondaka, and it's a pleasure of mine to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show this spring. I'm a current undergraduate student studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I'm still unsure of what exactly I want to pursue in sports journalism. However, I hope to learn and advance my knowledge under the Varsity Sports Show and create great memories with you. Let's make this a great year and let's strive for greatness.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. With an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Extra Point with local and national topics, betting lines, and banter. Weekdays 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060, KDUS1060.com, and the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. Again, we are at Fillmore Coffee Company, just having our own setup and really just showing Fillmore what we're all about, showing downtown Phoenix what we're all about. But more importantly, we have Jordy Fleetplatt on the line for you guys to give some inside scoop on what it's like to be a play-by-play announcer. How are you doing this morning, Jordy?
I'm good. How are you, Alexis? Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, we thought about guests and just thought that you would be perfect just to kind of share your story. So I guess first, can you kind of just talk to us about your journey with play-by-play? I think one thing that really sticks out to me about you is it doesn't matter what city you're in, you're going to find an opportunity and you're going to find someone to network with to kind of get you on the air. So can you just kind of talk to me about your different play-by-play opportunities and what you did to get them?
Yeah, so I have an interesting journey. I went to a small liberal arts school in Ohio, Kenyon College, and I was able to get some early opportunities there in my junior year of college. I applied during COVID, and there were some openings that there probably wouldn't have been otherwise. They took a chance on me, and I was able to do a lot of different sports there. And that's the benefit of going to a small school, and I was able to do baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, all sorts of stuff. And I wanted to come to Arizona State because I thought I could really build my network and really build my experience and continue to get better. I thought I wouldn't necessarily be able to go out into the workforce right away from a small school. And I've come here, and it's been a great decision. Just so many opportunities in play-by-play that I really could never have dreamed of.
So you mentioned, all the different sports that you do, softball, football, basketball, soccer. How are you able to become an expert overnight with these different sports to be able to go on the air and just be prepared?
I think it's obviously easier for some than others. There's sports that I've watched my whole life that I feel very, very comfortable with. But I did a women's lacrosse game the other day, and I did a lot of research on the rules and what to watch out for. So I think it just depends on the sport, and I put the time in, in the days leading up to certain sports to try and be fully prepared. But I think it honestly just comes down to watching so many sports growing up that I feel very comfortable. Listening to the broadcasters for years and years, I think really helped me start this process.
And then, the Super Bowl was just here in our backyard a couple of weeks ago, and you got the chance to meet the person that called the Super Bowl game, the person that was a play-by-play announcer for Fox Sports and called the Super Bowl game. Can you kind of tell us about that interaction and how he kind of just inspired you to just be better every day, that interaction that you had with him?
Yeah, that was an incredible experience. Got to go to Fox Sports Media Day during the Super Bowl, and I waited in line to talk to Kevin Burkhardt, and I was hoping it would work out, and it did. And he gave me some really interesting advice. He talked about just being able to listen as a broadcaster, something I hadn't really heard. You listen to your color person, make sure that you have a real conversation with them, and you aren't just kind of saying your own stuff separate from what they're saying. And then he also expressed to me to make sure that you are confident in finding your own voice. Don't necessarily listen to everything that's told to you. It's okay to, stand out a little bit and have your own approach to play by play. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't bring you on without bringing up your mom and how much she loves Sparky and just has been so much into your Arizona State experience. How does it feel, when you're doing all of these experiences and you're kind of just jumping in blindly? How does it feel to kind of have such a good support system at home? Mom flew all the way out to Arizona to see your first basketball Pac-12 assignment. She came in. She had her Sparky bucket hat on. How does that make you feel to have such a good support system when you're jumping into all these opportunities pretty blind?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for her. She's an incredible cheerleader and always has been. She's not doesn't always understand what this job is and what it entails. But that doesn't matter to her. You know, she's just so supportive in every way, regardless of the situation. I'm so happy she was able to see me in action, and I hope she will continue to be able to see me doing this stuff. I think it's really cool for her to just see me and hear me in the living room. You know, I send her links to my games, and that's something that she just really appreciates because she's so used to watching me watch games growing up in the living room, listening to broadcasters, and now it's me doing it. So I think it's really, really cool for her.
Well, yeah, Jordy, thank you so much again. I know everything is super busy for waking up early and coming on the show with us. Up next, after the break, we're going to hear from Vince's mom. Speaking of moms, we're going to hear from Vince's mom, and we're also going to be able to hear a little bit about what's going on in Tempe, Arizona in the sports world. So we'll be back right after break.
Hello, everyone, and happy Saturday. My name is Hannah Pettiferi, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show segment of the Tempe Sports Report. The Tempe Sports Report is sponsored by Angry Crab Shack of Tempe, located near the I-10 and Warner Road. This week, I had the opportunity to sit down with Desert Vista's girls basketball player Shea Ijiwoye. Shea is currently a junior, and she was named the 6A Conference Player of the Year. We got to discuss her upcoming future as well as some of her favorite moments from winning the state championship. And here's that interview right now. Shea, what was going through your mind when the clock hit 0 and your team just won the state championship?
Honestly, relief, just for something we've talked about for so long, for it to finally, come to fruition. I was just overcome with emotion and also joy, happiness. All the emotions, honestly.
And you think all of that hard work paid off for you guys?
100%. Yeah. People thought it was easy because just looking at the score and stuff, but it's really hard to not only beat certain teams twice, but to keep your foot on the gas when you're winning by so much all the time. We had to constantly dig deeper and push ourselves and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely worth it.
And then when it comes to colleges and schools that are giving you these offers, what exactly are you looking for when it does come down to not only the school but the basketball program as well?
So obviously I want high academics. That's just always been a really big focus for me and my family. But basketball wise, obviously I want to win, a conference championship, national championship. And then I just want to be in a program that, plays hard, plays both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Great relationships. That's obviously because basketball, you stop playing eventually. So people that I'll eventually invite to my wedding and vice versa and stuff like that. And just a great culture. I want to play with people that like to have fun and celebrate each other, and that love winning at the end of the day. So
kind of going back to the winning the big titles, how was your March Madness bracket looking?
It was busted since the first day. I don't even know what to say. It's actually been madness. Last year, I think I don't know, maybe because I'm more into it this year because I'm talking to so many programs and stuff, but at least on the women's side, of course. It's just crazy. You just never know when it's your day, when it's your game. It's March, and if your team's hitting the right stride right now, obviously you end up in the Sweet 16 and even further. And then on the men's side, I don't really care too much about that, but there are some crazy upsets happening, and I just hope Kansas State takes it all the way.
Awesome. Thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Shea Ijiwoye from Desert Vista's girls basketball team. Well, folks, that's all I have for the Tempe Sports Report for this week. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week on the Varsity Sports Show. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, and this is Hannah signing off.
And we welcome you back to the Fillmore Coffee Company here in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. On a nice Saturday morning. I'm Eric Castellan. I'm still alongside Vince DeLizio and Alexis Davis. Alexis, we had a great chance to talk to Jordy there, and it's, like you said, he's a play-by-play broadcaster. What's it like having a guy like him in your network?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I actually did my first ever broadcast with Jordy. So I think just having someone that I was familiar with come on air with me in such a nail-biting experience. We actually called the first Arizona State women's basketball game of the season against North Arizona. So he was play-by-play, I was analyst, and just having someone that had been there, done that before, just made me feel so comfortable and just made me feel confident. Just kept reminding me I know the topic, so just let the world know that I know the topic. He was definitely a great person to have, side by side during my first ever assignment on air.
Yeah, for sure. And he's a good guy for sure. And do you think you're gonna do any more games with him, or?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be in Phoenix together till December, so I'm pretty sure, especially we get to do another crack at a half of a women's basketball season. So I'm pretty sure the stars were aligned to have us both on the air together.
Awesome, perfect. Well, we're coming up on the final 15 of the show here, and we've got quite some good content when we come back, don't we, Vince? We got your mom joining us right afterward, along with Beachin' with Bill. We got Mike Beal going to join us as well, so it's going to be a heck of a last 15, right?
This is why people tune into the show. So by all means, come back after the break. We're out here at Fillmore Coffee Company, Varsity Sports Show. Eric and Alexis, and I've got a small part in it. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. Stick around. We got one more segment left here on the Varsity Sports Show. Go Varsity.
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Castellan, and thank you for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. I am currently a senior at Arizona State University, attending the Walter Cronkite School of Mass Communications and Journalism. I'm originally from California, but I moved to Arizona because of all the sports that are available out here, and I can't wait to bring you all the high school sports that we cover, whether you're listening or watching. Stay tuned.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
And now it's time for Beachin' with Beal. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beal. The opinions expressed during the segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, live from Fillmore Coffee Company in downtown Phoenix, 4th Street in Fillmore. Vince Delicio here, joined by my broadcast partners, Eric Castellan and Alexis Davis, and an old friend. I'm almost ashamed to say this sometimes, but Mike, I've known you since high school, and you're in Orange County, specifically Costa Mesa. So when people think, like Real Housewives of Orange County, you think of ritzy and glamorous, but you're kind of in the armpit of Orange County, aren't you?
We're we're actually right next door, Newport Beach, primarily Corona del Mar. Yeah. So it's kind of Newport Mesa, if you will.
Okay. Whatever. Mike, what's going on? Give us a report before we bring on our other really special guest. Give us a quick report of with the surf.
You bet. Well, it's good and bad news today, Vince. Today, it's waist to chest high, light offshore breeze, sunny, just like a movie, glassy. It's perfect. I mean, it looks great. The bad news is I'm in my kitchen getting ready to make some rigatoni pasta with a little pink sauce.
Oh boy. All right. Well, that being said, we our biggest fan, the reason why
Yes.
people tune in whenever she's on, she's joining us on the air right now. Aaron, let's bring her on.
Hey, compare,
All right, so we're joined by my mom, Anna Delisio. Ma, are you there? Yeah, I know that's your favorite song. So we had a little record player. I don't know if you remember, Ma, but back when I was 4 or 5 years old, this little green record player that would play 45s, and we had a real selection. I know we had like Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody on 45. I used to pop in there, but then we had that song. And I used to play it until the thing was scratched, and I don't even think I learned English until I was in kindergarten. But Ma, you're on for a reason today because first of all, you help boost our ratings. You're the reason why people tune in. I think that's why we saved you to the very end. So people have to listen to the whole show before we bring you on. And we're also joined by my old friend Mike. Do you remember Mike?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
He used to come over all the time and eat and then leave.
Hi, Mrs. Delicio.
Hi, Mike. Hi.
Yeah, he picks on me a lot, so you need to keep him in his place.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Don't pick
So,
up Vincent, please.
Yeah, but Mrs. Delicio, you've got to be proud of Vince. I mean, it seems like just yesterday he graduated from ASU and was selling encyclopedias door to door, and now he's the king of Saturday morning sports talk.
Yes, yes, I'm very, very proud of him.
Okay, thanks, Ma.
Okay,
All right, I'll pay you later. And also, Ma, we're joined. We have Eric and Alexis here. So, guys, say good morning to my mother. Say hi, please.
Good morning, Mrs. Delisio. How are you?
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm fine. I'm okay. Oh, well, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not fine. I'm okay.
So, you recently celebrated an anniversary, and it wasn't necessarily a good anniversary, but it was an anniversary nonetheless. So 5 years ago, what happened 5 years ago? What did you find out 5 years ago?
Well, I had stage 4 cancer. I had 3 to 6 months to live. And now it's been 5 years. I'm still here.
Yeah, but it hasn't been an easy journey, has it?
Oh, no. It's been hard. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very, very hard. I made it.
We found out, and we were in shock because when you found out, and this is a sports show, and we talk about perseverance in sports and overcoming obstacles and overcoming odds, and that's why you're here. And so we found out 5 years ago, and it was crushing because you never smoked, and you were told you had small cell lung cancer.
Yes.
And what made it stage 4 is because it spread to other parts of your body, right? Where is it, Ma?
It's on my back. It's on my side, and it started to spread
in your
on my
bones
neck,
and
on my neck, my bones, all my bones. So I had a lot of radiation, a lot of chemo, lots of them, everything else.
And so we've tried different things, but the biggest thing is your attitude, and you've stayed positive throughout. You still have a job. I mean, my God, Ma,
yes,
how old are you? You should be retired. How old are you?
I'm going to be 82 October.
82 years old, and you're still working.
October, I'm still working.
And you have cancer.
Yes, I have stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, but when you go to work and you have your part-time job, you're a cashier, and when you go to work, you don't feel well. You do sometimes feel a little sick, but
I pretend I'm happy. I'm healthy. I pretend that I'm very healthy.
And then people come to you when you're at work and they say, "Oh, I don't feel good. I don't feel this. I don't feel that." Do you say anything to them like, "Listen to me, buddy"?
I give them a big hug because they're sick. I give them a big hug. Some they know I am sick.
Yeah.
They pray for me. I have a lot of people pray for me.
Yeah. So what message can you say to give to people when they feel like they've got issues and problems out there, and how they deal with things, compared to how you deal with things? What can you say?
Try to stay positive. But take one day at a time. That's all. That's what you can do. Just take one day at a time and stay positive. try to move. Don't just sit there and do nothing. It's better to move a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
get
very
complacent.
Happy. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy because you helped me a lot. We went through all this. You helped me a lot through this. Okay, that's why I'm still here.
Yeah.
You know that. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have any questions for my mom? You came in saying you were going to ask all these things, and now you're kind of they're speechless.
I wouldn't say I was going to ask all these things. I guess if I did have a question for you, Mr. Lucy, I would say, well, what was it? I mean, Vince he's a guy for sure. What was it like raising him? I'm kind of curious.
I didn't really understand. Vincent, can you help
What
me?
Eric asked Ma was what it was like raising me. Was I the model child, or was I a problem child? What was it?
No. You were not a problem child. You were my little joy because you were the last one.
Yeah.
You were my baby. So you're still my baby. You're a good son.
So I know, Ma, you don't like to hear this, but people don't know this, but I'm the youngest of 4, and when people ask me, how many kids did your mom have? And Ma, cover your ears. I usually say, my parents had 3, and then they got it right. So anyway, it's true, right?
Yeah. I'm very blessed. I got 4 nice kids.
Whatever.
They're good to me.
All right, yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, but yeah, so Mike, are you still there?
I'm here, Vince.
Okay,
yeah, and
so
you were my problem child when we were growing up.
Yeah, whatever.
But I would like to point out to the listeners that Mrs. Delicio is an expert in the arts of culinary skills, and I was just thinking about it because I remember eating some lovely food at the Delicio home in high school, and Mrs. Delicio has probably forgotten more about cooking than I'll ever know.
Yeah. What do you mean?
What's your meaning that you know a lot about different?
I know a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, now with all this, I don't cook the way I used to. I can't.
Okay.
I don't cook the way I used to.
What's your favorite dish, Ma? What does Dad like?
Well,
Dad's pretty particular, right?
He like a pasta. He like pasta.
Yeah.
Gnocchi. Yeah. Your dad like gnocchi.
Okay.
Which I can't really make it too much right now. I can do it.
Yeah.
It's been hard on me. Yeah.
Okay, and what's been your go-to besides the gnocchi? What has been what you've done, that you feel like you do better than anybody?
Oh, I like spaghetti. I like spaghetti. I like anything. I make lasagna. I like spaghetti. I like all kinds of stuff. I make a lot of veggie, soup, all that stuff. When
we go out to eat, though, we never go to Italian restaurants. When my mom and I and we'd go out to eat. What's been like your favorite restaurant that we've gone to, Ma?
I like Mexican.
Yeah, there you go. She likes Mexican food.
A lot. I don't go for Italian because I can make my own.
You can do it better. Yeah,
I can do better.
And Chinese, we like a little Chinese too, and some seafood once in a while. I've seen you put down a couple plates of crab legs. So anyway,
I like crab legs. By your dad, I love crab legs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe one this day we go Red Lobster, me and your dad, when I can eat more. Yeah.
All right.
So,
so Mom, thanks again for joining us this morning. Thanks again for coming on and telling your story. 5 years, you're still going. And again, not to take anything for granted, right? To appreciate every day. That's kind of the message, right?
Yes, Vincent, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's my mom, and Anna Delicio, and Mike Beal with the Beachin' with Beal, Southern California Surf Report. Mike, thanks again.
Thanks for having me, Vince.
Thank you, and thank you to all of you, okay? Thank you.
All right.
God bless
Thanks, Mom.
all of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Vincent. Bye.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap. It's been another amazing show, this time from Fillmore Coffee Company in downtown Phoenix. Alexis, you want to kind of wrap things up for us?
Yeah, just a quick reminder to everyone to make sure you're following our Twitter at Varsity Sports Show to stay up to date on all of our broadcasting content. Next up, join Coach Ed Smith and Javon Adams with the Easy Sports Radio from 10 to 12. Thanks to our producer in studio. Aaron Dickers, and thanks for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Alexis, Eric, and Vince signing out from Fillmore Coffee Co. and downtown Phoenix, Arizona. See you next week.
Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Once again, our Twitter handle is @VarsityShow. We appreciate you all joining us, and thanks to our guests, as we said, our live guests, our content from our amazing team. Eric, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It's been a heck of a morning for sure. We've had some interesting people come on here, and I think it's been a pretty good morning for the most part. And I'm excited to see what happens the rest of the show, the rest of the semester too. So we'll see.
A lot of good stuff out there. And once again, guys, we're humbled and privileged that you're starting your Saturday morning off with the Varsity Sports Show. Thanks again to all of our guests and for tuning in. And my old friend Ed Smith is coming up next with Javon Adams and Aaron Decker, best producer in the business. Guys, have a great day and make it a great one, whatever you do, wherever you are. Thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Vince, out. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from